Helena, a 20-year-old astronaut, has spent nearly her entire life aboard the spacecraft Orbiter 9. Scientists on Earth have sent her on a mission to the potentially habitable planet Celeste due to issues like overpopulation, climate change, and a hazardous atmosphere. It's projected that she will return to Earth after more than 20 years. Helena's parents initially brought her to the spaceship as a baby, where they raised her. However, 3 years ago, a glitch in the system caused a rapid depletion of the oxygen supply on Orbiter 9. In a lonely journey through space, Helena's parents made a heartbreaking decision to ensure she had enough oxygen to reach the nearest outpost. For the past 3 years, Helena has been living alone on the spaceship, caring for her vegetables, exercising, monitoring her health, and reminiscing about her parents. As the oxygen supply diminishes, she begins to experience breathing difficulties. Then, one day, the spaceship's alarm blares, startling Helena, as she's never encountered this before. As Helena heads to the control room for an inspection, she discovers that a shuttle has docked with her spacecraft, evidently in response to her distress call. Rushing to the door, she encounters an engineer named Álex. After 3 years of solitude, she is both surprised and delighted to see him. Helena finds herself captivated by Álex, possibly because she has never encountered a man her age before, while he introduces himself and begins examining the oxygen system. Álex accepts Helena's invitation to dinner a few hours later while he is working on the repairs. Helena continues asking a lot of questions later on during supper. But Álex seems cold for some reason. All he says is that he needs to get back to his outpost and finish off his task. There's an Álex in space. Álex fixes the oxygen system the following day and gets ready to go. That evening, as he's sleeping, Helena slips into his room and climbs all over him. Álex asks her to get down as he wakes up and notices that she is staring. However, Helena, who has lived alone her whole life, says she might not see anyone for another 20 years. She gives him a slow kiss after that, and they soon have sexual intercourse. The next morning, Álex packs up all his belongings and leaves without properly saying goodbye to Helena. Exiting the spaceship, he walks through an unfamiliar hallway and ascends the stairs. Surprisingly, he emerges from what appears to be a bunker in the middle of the woods. Here, we discover that Orbiter 9 is a stage set, not a spacecraft, and the entire performance is taking place on Earth. In the following clip, Álex gets into his truck and drives through what seems to be a top-secret facility hidden within the woods. It becomes evident that there are other bunkers similar to Helena's, and Project Orbiter encompasses the entire operation. Shortly after arriving at the gate, Álex encounters a large number of military personnel stationed there. That evening, he meets with Hugo, the project manager, at the base of operations. Hugo pulls out his tablet and reveals to Álex that there are, in fact, 10 orbiters based on statistical data. According to him, things are progressing well, and if they continue at this pace, the actual launch of Celeste may occur within the next 20 years. Álex is upset, fearing for the 10 test subjects isolated in the orbiters despite the excellent news. However, Hugo reassures him that sacrificing 10 individuals for the sake of humanity is the right thing to do. As Álex heads home at night, a news story breaks announcing that the spaceship tragedy occurred 5 years ago. The spacecraft, carrying 207 crew members, experienced a catastrophic mechanical failure just after leaving the surface of the Earth on that fateful night. All those on board perished in a deadly crash as a result. The next morning, Álex, who is revealed to be the spaceship's chief engineer, meets with his therapist, Silvia. They are greeted by a computer-generated wolf that mirrors their expressions. Overwhelmed with remorse and sadness since the catastrophe, Álex confides in Silvia, expressing his feelings. He recounts the complexities of his work and his deep sorrow for the 10 test subjects who lost their lives, causing a significant setback in humanity's quest for Celeste. As days go by, and Álex begins to become increasingly suspicious. It appears that he can't get Helena out of his head because he views movies and live feeds of her frequently. Then, one day, he decides to take a complete risk. He jumps in and drives to the facility. Meanwhile, back within the Orbiter 9, the alarm goes off again when Helena is getting her routine medical examination. Helena is taken aback by this as her spacecraft is far from any station. The front door opens in a moment, and Álex, dressed casually, steps out. He tells her right away that they need to get out because they are not in a spacecraft. Helena, however, remains speechless, paralyzed by terror. Álex pulls out a secret camera and a microchip that is implanted inside Helena to monitor her key organs to demonstrate his argument. He also tells her that he is doing this for her safety. Helena is still in disbelief, but since she has a crush on Álex, she agrees to go with him. The science may not check out, but my hormones do. Before leaving, Álex hacks the camera feed and uploads an older recording of Helena, so that no one suspects their escape. Following this, the two exits the Orbiter 9. Upon exiting the bunker, Helena is overcome with a temporary stupor, finding it difficult to move as she isn't accustomed to sunlight and fresh air. Álex then conceals her inside his truck and successfully gets her past the entrance inspection. Later, at a hill, he shares all the details regarding the creation of the Orbiter program. Designed to acclimate humans to space for a flawless launch to Celeste, the program was meticulously crafted. Álex also reveals to Helena that her parents are still alive, but he refuses her request to meet them. It turns out that her parents are also part of the project. Shortly after, the two reach Alex's home, and Helena is surprised to see normal household equipment. She also experiences rain for the first time and becomes delighted. The following day, Álex visits Silvia and informs her of what he's done. Worried about her client's safety, Silvia shows her real self to Álex and promises to help him if things goes wrong. That evening, Álex shows Helena around the city and takes her to go grab a bite. He treats her to a variety of meals, something she has never experienced. Eventually, he brings Helena to an aquarium and introduces her to fish when she talks about the sea. The following morning, Álex shows Helena to his private office, which is equipped with numerous computers. He explains that it's where he watches the orbiters and monitors their movements. Stressed by the breach of privacy, Helena asks Álex how he could be involved in such an inhumane act, but he replies that it's for the betterment of humanity. With all the data and statistics gained from the Orbiter project, they will be able to flawlessly send a real spaceship to Celeste in the coming years. In the next scene, Álex takes Helena to a nightclub and introduces her to his friends. One of them is Dr. Xiao, a well-known physician. Álex invents an excuse to change the subject, avoiding the question about her hometown. At all costs, he wants to conceal Helena's identity. After some time, the group discusses the Orbiter program's effects and how it might ultimately benefit civilization. While Álex thinks the improvement is good, Dr. Xiao claims that humanity should concentrate on improving Earth rather than looking for a new world. After noticing some sores on Helena's back one day, Álex takes her to see his friend, Dr. Xiao. Upon superficial examination, Xiao observes that Helena's skin is extremely delicate, as if she had never been exposed to sunlight. This leads him to question Álex about Helena's true identity and prompts him to recommend a comprehensive examination for her. Xiao suspects Helena may be involved with the Orbiter program, a belief that Álex eventually confirms, leading him to let everything go. That evening, while Álex is out, Helena enters his room and starts rummaging through his paperwork. One of the folders contains shocking information. She discovers that she is a clone rather than a biological offspring. Turning a few pages, she finds her surrogate parents' address. Devastated by the realization that Álex had lied to her, she grabs her bags and heads outside to locate her parents. When Álex gets home later, he finds that Helena has learned the truth. Despite his obvious distress, he is unable to locate her. Helena locates her parents elsewhere and confronts them for leaving her behind. Helena is informed by her mother, who appears to be caring, that despite being a clone, she possesses exceptional health from the genetic makeup of people from many eras. At that moment, Helena's father comes up behind her and ties her handcuffs to the railing. He then proceeds to contact Hugo. But surprisingly, the mother knocks him out and helps Elena escape. A few hours later, she meets up with Álex and berates him for hiding the truth from her. With no words to defend himself, Álex simply apologizes and hugs her. However, the trouble has just begun. Álex and Helena pack their bags and leave, realizing that Hugo and his people have learned of the escape. The following day, Hugo meets with Katherine, the main supporter of the orbiter project, and gives her an update on the circumstances. The employer is understandably not thrilled, especially because one of her most prized assets has gone missing. Hugo orders her to find Helena and kill her when he asks her for Katherine. Alex brings Helena to her longtime confidante Silvia in another scene and requests a place to stay. Being the kind woman that she is, Silvia gladly accepts. But before she can escort them out, she hears a knock at her door. Outside, she finds Hugo and two armed soldiers on the lookout for Helena. It turns out that he rummaged through Alex's apartment and found Silvia's business card there. The men then barge inside the place and start looking around. Unaware that the couple is on the other side, they soon arrive at one of the therapy booths. Alex and Helena freeze in their spot as Hugo gives Silvia the order to turn on the screen. They stay completely still, not even blinking, for that would cause the wolf simulation to move and reveal their presence. After some time passes and Silvia still won't turn over the pair, one of the soldiers shoots her. Better to not use words like death, just shoots is fine. They are both terrified by this and flee immediately. They then engage in a furious rooftop chase, staying one step ahead of the assailants. But when they eventually encounter a dead end, they find themselves cornered. Alex suggests jumping to another terrace since there isn't much of another option. When Helena's moment comes, she freezes in terror and is eventually captured, but he goes first. All Alex can do is watch her being taken away by Hugo and his guys. That evening, a shaken Alex goes to the same bar and confronts his friend Xiao, who was reportedly also assaulted by Hugo and his crew. In addition to expressing his worries about Alex, Xiao notes that Helena's test results are available. She will have to return to the Orbiter 9 right away because she is ill-suited to remain here. Alex is devastated by the revelation, but then he gets an idea. Hugo visits Katherine and requests permission to bring Helena back into the Orbiter program. Katherine declines, stating that it will be very expensive for them. Then, to prevent the word from getting out, she orders him to kill Helena right away. Hugo begins preparing to end her as instructed. However, before he can carry out the plan, Alex shows up outside the building and offers Hugo a deal. Despite having already decided to kill Helena, Hugo calls Alex inside for the sake of their friendship. Without wasting any time, Alex reveals that Helena is expecting his child, who could be crucial for their mission. He proposes that Helena be allowed to return to the orbiter with him so they can nurture their child in the environment. In 20 years, this would create the ideal astronaut capable of guiding the actual spacecraft to Celeste. Surprisingly, Hugo finds the plan appealing and grants permission for the couple to board the orbiter once more. 20 years later, the elderly Hugo waits outside Orbiter 9 for a child, possibly Alex and Helena's daughter, to emerge from her bunker. The girl smiles at someone behind her and gazes up at the sky. The sound of the spaceship preparing to launch toward Celeste suggests the success of the experiment.